Welcome to Lesson 3-8, Solving Real-World Problems. You're going to begin this lesson by opening your workbook to page 87. Go ahead and read the directions to yourself as I read them to you. The fraction box to the right shows the same two fractions compared, added, subtracted, and multiplied. So look to the box on the right. You'll see what we mean. We're taking fractions 1/3 and 1/6, and in the first box we're going to compare them. This is a comparison sign. We're going to tell which fraction is greater than the other. Then we're going to add them in the box below, subtract them in the box below that, and multiply them in the final box. In the first box where they're comparing, notice that they're comparing the fractions. They're giving you the two original fractions and showing you 1/3 is greater than 1/6. Or they're also showing you the comparison with the fractions having the same denominator. I think that that's a wise idea in this exercise to use the same denominator because you're going to have to be adding them and subtracting them, and you can't do that unless the denominators are the same. So we would take 1/3 in order to compare them and 1/6, and we would write them on top of each other as if we were adding them. In fact, we could add them at the same time that we're comparing them. In order to compare them properly, they would need to have the same denominator, and we would do that by looking at the number 6 and realizing we could use it. We're going to use 6 as our denominator. Our numerator on the top will be 2 because our multiplier is times 2, and on the bottom will remain the same because the denominator is the same. Now we have 2/6 and 1/6, and we can see that 2/6 is greater than 1/6, and that's how I would like you to show your comparisons with the same denominator. So do not cross multiply to find out which is larger. Instead, set it up as an addition problem, and you will take care of two problems with one shot. Now we can add our fractions. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3/6 is our final answer, which is, when simplified, the same as 1/2. We see that 3 plus 1/3 plus 1/6 equals 2/6 plus 1/6. That's what we have here, 2/6 plus 1/6, which equals 3/6, which also equals 1/2, and that's what we have down here. The next thing we have to do is subtract, but we already have our problem set up to subtract. So all we need to do is erase our answer down here and erase our sign, change that to a subtraction sign, and go ahead and subtract 2/6 minus 1/6 to get 1/6. And we can take a look at the box over here and see that they did the same thing. 1/3 minus 1/6 is the same as 2/6 minus 1/6. That's what we have here. We've already set it up. And that will get us 1/6. So you can see that you're going to want to set up right away for the next two numbers the addition problem so that you can compare, then add, then subtract, and then finally you're going to need to multiply. And when multiplying, you're going to have to set this up lying down, which it already is set up lying down up here. So you can rewrite that somewhere and try to cross cancel. Try to simplify these fractions if you can first. And there is no way to simplify 1 and 3 or 1 and 6, so you try to cross cancel 1 and 6 and 3 and 1. Neither of those can be cross canceled because of the ones. The ones are prime numbers. You can't get any smaller than 1. So we just multiply straight across and get 1 over 18. Take a look at their answer here. 1/3 times 1/6 is 1 over 18. So this is how you should be completing problems 1 and 2. So pause the video now and complete those problems. Come back for the rest of the lesson. Next section of this page is Puzzle Penguin. Please read the Puzzle Penguin to yourself and I'll read it with you. One of my friends said that he would give half of his sandwich to me and half of his sandwich to my sister. My sister said, "But then you won't have anything left for yourself." This doesn't make sense to me. I know that half plus a half equals 2/4. My friend should have plenty left for himself. Did I do something wrong? What do you think? Your job is to write a response to the Puzzle Penguin. Please explain what it is that he did wrong. Pause the video and do that now, and come back for the rest of the lesson. Questions 4 through 8 are word problems. I'm going to model problem number 4 for you, then you're going to complete the rest of those on your own. Yesterday, I made 2 3/4 quarts of strawberry jam and 1 1 1/8 quarts of raspberry jam. How much more strawberry jam did I make than raspberry jam? Immediately, I start imagining myself making this jam. I could even draw a couple of pictures to represent that. So I made some jam. The first kind of jam I made was strawberry. Could represent that with just one letter or the entire word. And I made 2 3/4 quarts of that jam. I also made some raspberry jam. So I would draw a picture of that, represent that with a letter or a word. And I made exactly 1 1/8 quarts of raspberry jam. The question clearly states how much more strawberry jam did I make than raspberry jam. And I can look at how much strawberry jam I made and clearly see that I've made more than I have raspberry. If I want to know how much more, those are some keywords that typically mean to do what? Subtract. So what we're going to do is subtract this problem. I've already lined it up, luckily. And now I can start my subtraction process by looking for first a common denominator. I'm going to use 8 as my common denominator, as the trick I've been teaching you all along is to take a look at the largest denominator and see if it can be used. And 8 can be used. That means the numerator will be the same here because the denominator is the same. That means the multiple is just 1. Here the multiple is 2, so then the numerator will become 6. Now we can subtract 6 minus 1 to get 5/8, and check to see if that fraction is improper or can be simplified. It's not improper, and it can't be simplified because 5 is prime. Only 1 and 5 go into 5, and 5 doesn't go into 8, so you can't simplify that. Therefore, we just subtract our whole numbers, 2 minus 1, to get 1, and our final answer becomes 1 5/8. Now I would like you to pause this video and complete questions 5 through 9 on your own.